Let's go. Let's do it.
This is Indecisive Cinema episode 59. We're
59,
approaching the big 60.
60. Yeah, bro.
Um, I guess you and I had talked about this week about potentially moving the podcast to bi-weekly every other week,
Bi-weekly.
which I think makes more sense. I think we inevitably do that most of the time anyway, just because honestly the biggest thing is just being able to see enough movies to really justify having a full hour-long show. Like I just feel
Yeah.
like and just we usually have the homework assignment is one or two movies, and doing that every week can just be challenging. I think when we give
Yeah.
ourselves 2 weeks, I think we have more time to go see stuff in theaters and just build up a better list of stuff. So like today we've got I saw the Jackass movie. I don't even know what it's called, but Jackass 7 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Toy Story 5 I saw.
Yeah.
Carlos hasn't seen either of those, so we won't do spoilers for those. We both watched Iron Lung,
Yeah.
um, and which is from last year, I think. So we'll talk
No,
about that
no.
with
Came out in
spoilers.
March.
Okay,
That
March,
came out in
gotcha.
March. Yeah. Yeah.
And then Caroline, both of us saw. So we're gonna talk about that and
Carolina,
with
Caroline.
spoilers. And
Carolina.
then we also both saw Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. So we'll probably end with that, and that'll be full spoilers as well. So we got three movies with more of a
Yeah.
discussion to talk about, and then I'll hit the first two real quick. Um, I did want to talk about. Have you seen this new Jason Statham movie? This it's from the
Mutiny.
it's what is it? Mutiny.
Well, the one that's coming out,
Yeah,
Mutiny, is
yeah,
the
yeah,
one that's coming
Mutiny.
out. Yeah.
Well, man, Marissa, I forget what we were watching, but we went and saw something, and the trailer for it popped up, and it was like from the director of Plane, and I was like, holy shit! Like
I
this
saw
looks.
that.
I'm still baffled by the fact that you would ever name a movie. Plane is the
Movie
dumbest
that was like,
title.
right?
I mean, especially for a dumb movie. It's just, man, I that trailer makes me laugh so hard. I hear the movie's fine. I mean, I don't have any opinions on. This looks like a
Yeah,
competent.
I know. I'm a Jason Statham fan. I enjoy watching mindless, action junk movies. That sometimes it's kind of cool. But I saw that trailer today actually on YouTube, and I laughed the same way. I was like, play. I was like, what?
From the director
I
of
mean, I
Plane.
played. That's the one that Gerard Butler and the guy who played Luke Cage was in that movie. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
I love in the trailer there's a line, there's like a foreign bad guy and he's like Jason Statham, what do you want? And Jason goes, vengeance. I'm like, this is awesome. It's like so dumb. It's just a straight up like Mad Libs, like Jason Statham Mad Lib rolled on a
I like
boat
that,
this
man.
time, you know. It's like just like it's just another one of those movies. It looks like The Beekeeper, it looks like A Working Man,
I
it
was
looks
going to
like
say, yeah, they're finding things for him to do. He's done everything
just
now.
this is his third like Russian human trafficking
Yes,
movie
that's
in
true.
3 years. On a brighter note, though, the new Street Fighter movie actually looks good. That trailer looks
It
cool.
does. It's cheesy, but I do dig it. I like all the actors in it too. It's like really cool.
After the Mortal Kombat trailer, that one did not look good to me. I feel like this was like, oh, this looks like it actually has personality. Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat did
that
fine, I
takes
think,
away. Yeah,
but it just looked kind of junky and it looked like they shot everything on a green screen. This like actually looks like there's practical fight sequences and good
no, yeah,
choreography and
yeah, I saw the making of one day, and I was like, damn, it's yeah, they wanted practical effects. They didn't want it to look CGI'd, and it looked really good from what I saw. The newest trailers were really good. Yeah.
other than that, I don't know what other like movie news we've missed over the past 2 weeks. I'm trying to think. Nothing. Army Hammer's upset that he about his new movie that came out. That's
Vigilante movie.
yeah. Well, apparently
Mr.
he's upset.
Vigilante or
He's like
whatever.
Matt. I think it's like one of those movies that's really critical. He already had a documentary about him though, but I think there was another movie that just came out
Yeah,
that
I,
was
I was a crazy, maybe cannibal pedophile.
it's like
What's he
I don't
crying about?
yeah, like apparently he was selling timeshares down in South America
Yeah,
for
like
stuff.
after his career ended, he was doing time shares in Florida was it Caribbean, and then now he's an actor again. I'm like, whatever. What's he worried about? Isn't he from
Watching
originally too? He's like
yeah,
supposedly has a lot of money.
there's an HBO documentary about the Hammer family,
Yeah,
and there's some similar kind of concerns with some of his like his father and grandfather. I think I just picked up pieces of it because Marissa watched it. I haven't seen it since then, but yeah, I think it's called the House of Hammer or something. I think it's on
yeah, that's
HBO,
what's called the house.
but yeah, there's already that already exists. But yeah, apparently he's up in arms about some new
But that's
movie
what I'm
that's
saying. It's like
critical.
it's funny because it gives you the connotation of the old Hammer horror films. So when it said House of Hammer, I was like, what a
Yeah.
stupid name, you know? But yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know if there's been anything monumental in the like movie world as far as
And all, yeah.
that
I
I can
know
think of.
in the toy world, just to bring it up, they have this Funko Pop of Obsession,
Mm.
Bloody Nikki, and it was like the biggest thing. Everybody fighting to get one, and everybody was like mad that the links were going nowhere. And then like apparently this has been going on for 3 days. And today I was just like waiting for you, and I went on to the Funko shop, and they had it on there, and I put it in my pre-order. But it's cute. It's just her, like I guess toward the end of the film after she's like covered in blood over here. But yeah, I just thought that was funny that this obsession is like the Funko Pop was the biggest thing on online the past couple of days. So, but yeah.
Gotta love it.
Um,
Yeah, that movie's still making money, man. It's
oh,
good to
you
see
heard?
though.
I also saw something else, and I was reading a little article about it, like maybe earlier today. So there's a screenshot of the One Wish Willow, and then there's two other products on the side, and they're saying that uh, Curry Barker hinted at each one of those products might be another one of his films.
Mm.
And if you look, it's one is called The Magic Eye, and the other thing, geez, I forgot the name of it, but they're both like, not that he's going to do it, even though I mean it would be interesting if somebody like bought his universe, his.
Sure.
But yeah, I thought it would be interesting to do, like I mean, for him to make, like James Wan, who now has a whole money for the Conjuring universe. I mean, he's a young kid. Why not do it? Make
Yeah.
billions of dollars for nothing. He's only 22, 23.
Yeah. One for them, one for you.
Yeah, right. I like that.
I think Obsession's great, and I think I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what he does next. Obviously, he's got really tough decisions to make in the next year or so because whatever he does next is really going to determine a lot
Yes.
for him. Even
Gonna
though
be
this was a
under
big
a
hit.
microscope. Yep, magnifying.
Look at the guy that did like It Follows. Is a perfect example. I forget his name. I've already forgot his name.
Yeah.
That's
I was gonna.
he actually has a new movie coming out that looks pretty decent, but I forget what it's called. He's got a name. I forget. I don't know, but I liked his
Robert
second.
Mitchell something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, David Robert Mitchell. Yeah,
David Robert Mitchell, and he
uh,
has something to do with They Follow.
is that what it is? I forgot. I've seen the
That's the new
trailer and
film. I
it
didn't know
looked
if he
cool.
directed it or not. I know he did do a movie that his name was on that got a lot of buzz, but
Oh, maybe it's
but
just a producing credit. I don't know.
yeah, but yeah, They Follow comes out in October, I think. Yeah,
Oh yeah, the sequel to
yeah,
yeah. There's something else, or maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Is it's just another sequel? I forget what trailer I saw because I
yeah.
avoid trailers in general. So a lot of times I'll see something and then 3 months go by and I don't remember what it was. I'm avoiding the Odyssey just like the plague.
Yes.
I'm just
Oh my
like
God,
trying to get into that without getting. I mean, I already I think we talked about it. The spoiler of
yeah,
like the Cyclops in the cave.
yeah.
Like man, I wish I hadn't seen that before the theater. But yeah, it's hard to avoid. Same thing with like Dune.
And then
Like
all this negative press because of Elliot Page being oh my gosh.
God forbid she's a human being.
Yeah, I know. And he
He is a
looks
human being.
cock diesel. I saw him. Apparently, someone also said that they're doing a remake of Rocky and they wanted to do it. I was like, what the hell's going
I
on?
actually I read Elliot Page's memoir last year. I think it's very good. Highly recommend it. It was really insightful because I feel like they did like a couple movies. It was like what is 2008 was like Inception, right? Was that maybe a little later,
Yes,
2011 or
yes,
something, and then kind of disappeared. And
yeah.
there's a few other movies outside of that, but yeah, I think it's cool to see him back doing stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
the
I,
memoir is
I,
very good. I highly recommend it.
I'm dying to see
Um,
the Odyssey. I mean, with the cast and the
oh
story. I
yeah,
mean, so
it's
yeah,
got good buzz coming out of some of the critics that I trust have
yeah.
pretty high praise for it so far. So But yeah, I'm avoiding all the discourse
Oh yeah,
surrounding.
yeah, I got
I
you.
mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I've read the book, so it's not like I'm like concerned about spoilers. For me, it's more just the spectacle spoilers. I want to see
Oh
the
yeah, I see.
spectacle of it. I just want to let that just inject that into my
When was the
veins. So,
last time you read it? I read it in college. That's when
yeah, in high school, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I actually had a class on it in college, but yeah. But
But
that's
I
the
mean,
last.
the way that he presents the information,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
lot
no,
to
no, no.
do.
I see what you're
There's a
saying.
lot. There's a lot to of
Yeah,
flexibility to be creative within the constraints of the novel. The novel or whatever. Is it even a novel? It's like 200 pages, but um, I don't know. Anyway, I read it 20 years ago, but I'm still excited for the movie.
no, no,
And
no. Yeah, I am too. 30 years ago for me, but yeah,
yeah, fair enough. He's an old man.
yeah.
Got those gray hairs over there. But yeah. Well, anyway, let me hit Jackass real quick because
Jackass.
there's not much to talk about. I mean, it's fun. I had a really good time.
Yeah,
This is supposed to be the final film,
yeah,
partially because they're all getting old, and Johnny Knoxville is like, I can't do it anymore. I think his doctor was like, you can't keep doing this, especially after the last bull incident in like
yeah.
the previous film. But there's some nostalgia. So basically, they take like there's some new bits and sketches that they do, and then they also it's kind of a compilation of some of the like greatest hits from the previous films, which is I think kind of what the last Jackass movie was also. Um, but I think this is supposed to be the most definitive one. They do make a joke about it not being that. But yeah, so we'll see if it is or not. But it's still, you know what you're gonna get with this kind of movie. But I do think it's fun, and there's actually a surprising amount of like emotional, um, just reflection on the time that they've spent
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Johnny Knoxville in particular. I thought that was kind of eye opening. Not eye opening. It was just something I haven't seen from him. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, there is one particular sequence that I think is the highlight for me is the poop twister, the poop game of Twister, where they put on like essentially like saran wrap pants that
Yeah,
seal, and then they give them like a the like when you get a colonoscopy, the
yeah,
drink.
yeah.
Drink. They give them the colonoscopy drink and then make them play Twister, and I'm like, that's just whoever came up with that's an evil genius. They also they also show the film opens with one of the first Jackass recordings, which is Johnny Knoxville shooting himself in the chest with a gun that they'd never aired on television. Um,
Shit. Look forward to that.
it's wild. It's really it's like really good. He like puts a bunch of phone books in his shirt and then shoots himself with a revolver. And it reminds me of like a scene from The Deer Hunter. It's like
Yeah,
it's
right.
really stressful. Um, but yeah, and then there's another one that they showed, which I don't think aired either. Can they talked about it in the interview of like, it's like essentially they put Johnny Knoxville in a box with some pillows, like a cardboard box, and then they tape it up and they just throw him down some stairs. And they said that the producers the producers said it was too repeatable, so we can't play this on television. So there's some really funny bits that you
Yeah.
couldn't ever air on TV that are in the movie, and yeah, it's just it's a fun, it's a kind of a greatest hits. You get all the best stuff. I hadn't seen all the films, so it was fun to kind of
Oh,
revisit.
really?
I've
Yeah,
seen a lot of them over the years, some on
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. We
Um,
about 5 years ago, the kids got into watching skits like that. So we watched most of the movies, and well, not most, all the movies, and then most of the series because Paramount only has a select few
mm,
within each season. Like they only have like 4 episodes per season. I guess they don't have the rights all from MTV. I don't know.
that
But
makes
yeah,
sense.
so they watched all of them until they got bored of it, saying, "Oh, it's the same thing over and over again." So, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you should. I mean, we just wanted to. I think that's when we went to the theater recently. We just wanted to go see something, and that was out. And Marissa likes the Jackass movie, so it was a good time at the theater. But yeah, I don't know if you need to run out to the theater to see it. You know what you're gonna get. So if you want to see
yeah.
it, go see it. If you don't, probably wait for streaming. But yeah, yeah, a worthwhile investment of time, I would say though, across the board. So. Um, and then let me just do Toy Story real quick. I don't have, I mean, it's another Toy Story movie. You kind of know what you're going to get with this as well. But it is Pixar. And it's like, it's one of their like historied franchises that they are known for delivering a really high standard of quality for.
Yeah.
And I would say this is another addition to that, and just in terms of the animation quality, but also just the storytelling and the the just the amount of like jokes and I don't know. It's like I think for me, what was really interesting about this is like if you're gonna bring back, because everybody thought the third one was going to be the final movie, and then
Yeah,
the fourth one
that's
was going to be the final movie.
and then
Um,
four was kind of like lackluster.
it was still
You had
good
like a lot.
though.
I know
Like
I liked it, but still not better than three. And then I
no,
guess this one more of a definitive ending, or
I don't think it's necessarily that. I think it's more of an isolate. I mean, I think it it's an isolated story in that I don't they could certainly bring back the characters again. I think if you wanted to, there's no it's a Toy Story movie. They didn't kill anybody. So I mean, ultimately, I think it's going to entirely depend on the cast being available to come back for another.
yeah,
But I think what's interesting though is if you're going to bring back this franchise, I mean, for a fifth installment of anything, you have to have a good reason. And I think the angle in which they bring like the idea. So if you've seen the trailer, you know that um the premise of the movie is that the kid who is the owner of all the toys is
Bonnie.
trying to fit in with the neighbor kids, and then she can't fit in because they all have the tablets. Oh, there's a
Yeah,
cattail whipping through
yeah,
the frame there. Adorable. um and so it's like ultimately she wants her parents to get her one, and her parents inevitably get her a tablet, and that kind of is the launching point for like the just this really interesting exploration about children's need to play, and the screens being a really huge limiting factor to social progression and development. And I just think it's a really interesting way, like to because like I mean we've seen four Toy Story movies, so like if you're gonna bring
yeah,
it back, this is it ties into the Toy Story brilliantly in my
yeah,
opinion. I think it's a really important I mean, probably one of the biggest issues of our time, in my opinion. I
yeah.
mean, there's other issues, war and stuff like that, but I mean, ultimately, just this is an issue that impacts damn near every child in the world,
Yeah.
in 2026, or really the past 10 years. Um, and I because I mean, my generation was probably the last generation to grow up without
With that,
screens
yeah,
for a period.
agreed.
Um,
Yeah,
we grew up with the internet. Like I had the internet. We had dial up when I was
yeah,
in middle school, I think. But I mean, high speed internet was not a thing that every family had until I graduated high school. Um, but yeah, and
yeah.
so anyway, I think it's a really interesting concept to explore, and I think getting parents into the theater to examine this idea and kind of shove it in their faces, I think is legitimately important. And I also think it just is it accomplishes that
Yeah.
exploration of that premise in a way that's very tasteful and interesting, and and they managed to write in an interesting narrative to support it. And just this fear of being like that kids will never really know what it means to be able to play and be creative. And I actually read last year, I read a book called The Anxious Generation, which is very much about this problem, and specifically social media and just connectivity, and how it's destroying children's ability to like be bored, and through boredom play and explore and problem solve and engage in just face-to-face social situations that you would generally or normally do in early stages of development. This movie focuses more on the play and the social developmental aspects of screen time and stuff like that. But yeah, I just think it's something that it's really fascinating to me to see just the psychology behind that in the book that I just mentioned, and then to see that portrayed in a children's film is it's I think that's interesting. So I really liked it. I think it was a step in the right direction from four in terms of being, because four, like I couldn't tell you a single plot detail of four other than I think there's like a China or like an antique store. And the point being though, is
Yeah,
like it's
that
not a very
they're
memorable experience, even though
no, yeah,
not
yeah. I
it's
understand what
not
you're saying.
bad. Um,
No,
this felt like it had something to
you
say.
got Keanu Reeves in there, so but
It was fun. I remember four being enjoyable, but I think this is it definitely is more relevant and has a lot more to say without being preachy. And it's still just a great time. So yeah, really really enjoyed Toy Story 5. So and that's I think
Yeah.
any animated movie like this is worth seeing on the big screen just for the quality of the animation and
Yeah.
yeah. So I would say if you want to take your kids to see something, that's a really take them to that, not Minions. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the Minions movie, but I would assume that you're gonna have a better time at Toy Story 5. Um,
Actually, it's funny 'cause it's about the early beginning of film. It takes place
okay,
like 20s and 30s. So
okay.
I thought that would be interesting too. But I mean, okay, I've never seen a Minions film on the big screen after my girls got to be teenagers. So, but
But anyway, that's
yeah,
Toy Story 5. Let's get into Iron Lung.
Iron Lung.
Um, why
Iron
don't
Lung.
you? I've been talking too long. Why don't you give the premise and give us a rundown? We are going to be talking about spoilers, but we can give kind of our brief thoughts on it first. So go ahead.
So yeah, so basically, Iron Lung is the first film from Markiplier, who is a big YouTube video game reviewer slash essayist. And Iron Lung is based on a video game. Um, from what my son tells me, because it's basically. I mean, it's just funny, man. We're talking about kids' imagination because kids now watch people play these games instead of playing them themselves. But basically, yeah, the game is you're trapped in this underwater submarine or vessel, and there is a creature down there, and according to my son, it's mostly about figuring out how to navigate down there. But anyway, the movie does follow that plot loosely.
Mm.
Markiplier plays a criminal slash inmate who's given a choice to either be in jail for whenever long time or do this one mission by going down and getting a sample of whatever may be down there. And it's supposed to be the fate of the world lies on him doing this, And apparently, there's been a few attempts before, but nobody survived it. So basically, that's the premise, and then you get some, I mean, after you talk a little bit, we'll get into spoilers, but delving into the mind of someone who's, you know, underwater, by himself, and maybe hallucinatory factors and stuff like that. Um, but I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. There were times where it kind of. But you go. You say what you got to say, and then we can
Yeah, I
talk
mean,
about that.
would you recommend it?
Um, no, because I don't like. We always talk about like outside of you. Who would I know outside of children or teens or young adults who would care about watching it? Um, if you want to talk about video game adaptations, Five Nights at Freddy is now more accessible than any other video game adaptation. But like when we were talking about Backrooms, that's also a film that, like Five Nights at Freddy, there's so much deep lore, but it's made accessible through this film and through books, and now there's graphic novels of Five Nights at Freddy.
It had an
But
audience already that was
correct.
built in. Yeah,
And then with Backrooms, again, like I said, my children loved it because they are children of the YouTube era. And they love the backstory. And there is Backrooms is more scarier in the aspect of this like creepy sci-fi aspect.
sure.
But with Iron Lung, I never heard of it up until when they announced this movie in January from my son and my daughter telling me about it. And again, I was like, so like, is it like, it's like almost like Subnautica that he plays. He's like addicted to Subnautica.
I
But
just
like,
finished that actually. I love Subnautica.
oh,
I just beat it
he
like two
loves
weeks
it.
ago, 3 month ago.
Oh, so you mean the video game that you played,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. Just beat the
And,
video game. That's a
yeah.
great game. I think that's far more compelling than this movie, but I'll get that in this. I'll get to that in a second.
Okay, but that's what I mean. It's like I wouldn't know who to recommend it to. I mean, there's
Sure.
nobody our kind like a film fan. How you say, oh, check out this movie by a YouTuber based on a kind of obscure video game that's actually based on other cooler video games. And I mean, we've done it before. We've seen it before anyway. So I don't know who I would recommend it to besides kids. But how about you? Do you know
Well,
anyone?
I'll
recommend
say
it?
no. I mean, but it's mostly because of the quality of the overall quality of the presentation of the materials, not so much the material itself. Like, I think the premise of this movie is actually kind of interesting. I like the idea of a convict, being sent on on a suicide mission, essentially, to potentially, save humanity. And I like the idea of it being like an alien planet in the depths below, and a planet made of blood. Like, these
Yeah,
ideas are
that was
interesting.
the thing too. I yeah, I,
And there's some cool visuals in the film, and I think I think for me it's a lot to ask an audience to sit and watch a movie with a person in one
yeah,
room the entire time. I think that's a hard thing. Like a movie like Saw is like, that's a hard ask. I like Saw. Saw's good. It's 90 minutes. I think this should be
but
90 minutes
back
long.
and forth. There's
Yeah,
flashbacks to lead you to why they're here,
sure.
whereas there's really none here besides him talking to the people above. And I mean, I did like the what I found the creepiest, besides like early on him seeing a creature or something in the corner,
Sure.
the images of this Cthulhu type
Hmm.
creature on the water, and I like the images of like that it disappears, it comes back.
Sure.
That was kind of, for me as a horror fan, it attracted me. I
Yeah.
dug that. But there was not enough of that. And again, like you said, like Markiplier. I mean, yeah, I mean, like
I mean, he's a
watching.
first time filmmaker, I mean,
No,
yeah, I don't
and I
want to.
do look forward to hopefully he does something
Yeah.
else. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, of course, before Obsession and Backrooms, this was the indicator that these people who do YouTube can make it. And this movie made what, like, was it nine?
Oh, this did, yeah,
Like
it
it made,
did very well. Yeah.
yeah, it made so much more than
I think it made $50 million or something. It made a
yeah.
good
So
amount of money
and it
for,
was like it cost them like maybe a million. It was like not even. I mean, so I mean,
yeah,
so they'll bank on him again. I mean, but again, I look forward to seeing what he does next. But
sure.
I mean, if you say, oh well, I do review video games online, I'll do a video game. That can get old now that Backrooms, Finance of Freddy, so he would have to come up with an original idea. That's what I want to see, but I don't know if you can pull it. But yeah, I mean, what else? What's your,
I mean, yeah, I mean, this one's a no for me, dog, but I don't think it's terrible. I just think it's a
not
lot to ask
horrible.
people I mean, this movie's 2 hours and 9 minutes long or something.
Yeah.
And I feel like it should be like 80 minutes.
Yeah,
Um,
like 90 tops,
yeah.
including the, extra footage at the end or something. But yeah, I
Sure.
mean,
Yeah. Like we should be in and out in 80 minutes. It's like that Arrested Development bit where they're like, they keep asking us to cut it down. No, it's 63 minutes long or something. Like this is one of those things where like there's a review that I think sums up, it just sums it up perfectly. It's from John Serba. I think he's a Rotten Tomatoes critic, but it might be a user review. I'm not sure. But it says there are only so many camera angles in this claustrophobic setting, and Fistbach uses every one of them 6 times each. And I couldn't I couldn't agree more. It's actually well shot, and like there's good
yeah,
sequencing in the film. I think they utilize the space really well, and it's visually and aesthetically appealing, other than you're just staring at this guy's face for 2 hours. And and I swear, like the dialogue sounds like something. It reminds me of, like, I don't know if you ever played Halo 2 back in the day, but like when you're on a campaign mission and you've got all your soldier buddies with you, and they're all just like, "Oh fuck, this is fucking bullshit. This is just unbelievable." It's like, let's see how many F bombs we can fit into the movie. It's
yeah,
like
right.
it's written by, it feels like it was written by, like, remember when like every college graduate was like, I want to write a Tarantino movie. It's like that's what this feels like. And it's so angry. It's so like, it's just like, take it down a notch, bro. Like it's like, yeah, it's that line from Booksmart. He's like, you're at a 10 and I need you at a 2. It's like, just take the edge off. Like a lot of it's just him arguing with the people in the ship above.
Yeah, above him. Yeah,
And it's like he agreed to do this. It's kind of a simple premise. I'm not
yeah.
surprised. There's no big twists that are surprising, and they shouldn't be to him either. Like there's not, like, the people that sent him here have no concern about whether or not he lives or dies, and
Lives or
I don't
dies,
either.
and he's
Uh,
caught on to that.
Anyway, it's not. Let's get into spoilers at this point, just in
Yeah,
case somebody's concerned about that. I mean, I don't really have a lot to say about it. I think if you read the synopsis, you'd be like, "Oh, that seems interesting," and then 45 minutes into this, you're going to be like, "Oh, this has another hour and a half left." Um, but yeah, he's just constantly
yeah,
teetering on like angry and cynical, but then sometimes cooperative, like mid scene. Sometimes it just the tone of the
it
movie, but then
shifts.
also
Yeah,
just the characters' like thought processes are just all over the place. Like there's one line where he's like, where is I have it written in here? Um, shoot. I have too many notes on this movie. Oh yeah, he's like, I'm not fucking dying down here. And then literally 10 seconds later, while he's looking at a map, he's like, I'm fucked. And you're like, God, who wrote this movie? Because I sincerely think with the premise, which I think we've agreed is interesting enough. I mean, there's some interesting ideas there.
yeah,
I think you could
yeah,
legitimately take what is here and cut 45 minutes of dialogue and like just shots sequences where it's like we're going to show his face and then we're going to cut to the back of him and then we're going to cut to the wide shot of the space and then we're going to cut to the close up of his hands and then the side of his head and then the dripping pipe in the wall and then we're going to and it's just like I get that we want to keep it moving but it's like what you need to do is edit the thing like I don't know
there
man.
is a lot you could. Yeah, there are times where I'm like even at one point, I'm not gonna lie, I was nodding off, and JC's like, "Wake up! You got to do this for the podcast."
Well, so I'll be honest. We actually watched this in two chunks because I could not get through it the first night. Marissa was like, "We got to do something else. I can't. You can watch
Yeah,
this without me if you want, but we're not." She actually ended up finishing it with me, but yeah, it was like there's a section where like I'm sure in the video game you were saying that like some of it is like navigating the ship. I'm sure
yeah,
that makes sense in a video game,
yeah,
but like give me that in a montage, bro. Like, give me like a 2 minute sequence where he's like figuring out how to navigate the ship and learn how to
yeah,
use the camera. Like, I don't need like these extended sequences of like him working at the table at the
yeah,
trying to fit. And it's just like there's that whole sequence where like something gets starts to explode down beneath and he crawls
yeah.
underneath and it's just all for nothing. It's just there's
It
just like these.
didn't go anywhere. I thought something was going to come from that.
I don't know though. And it's like there's like a line where he's like, I'm done being fucked with. It's like, bro, you don't have an option. You have no
I know.
control over the situation. And now to give the film credit though, and I think what you said though about like I'm curious to see what he does next because I think
Yeah,
other than just editing the film down, I think it's like just you got to learn how to kill your babies or kill your darlings or whatever you want to call it. Ultimately, I think that's the lesson should be the lesson learned from this. I don't know if it will be learned, but let somebody else write your movie because you cannot write dialogue. Um, and then or just cut 90% of the dialogue. Like I sincerely think you could cut a ton of the dialogue from this movie, at least the arguing, just cut out the arguing sequences and it would be like 40 minutes shorter because there's so much of him just yelling at the woman above.
yeah. But then I'm like, while you're talking, I'm like, since we can't find an audience that we would recommend it, but I'm like, most kids on YouTube or watching you, that's what they do. They curse at each other because they that's cool to do and angry all the time. I'm angry at my parents. I started thinking, I said, this is like a perfect movie for these kids who watch him. It's like they probably love it. And I don't know if they lasted 2 hours and 9 minutes, but
Sure.
I
That's
mean,
the biggest
yeah,
problem is
I mean,
it's too long. It's too damn long. This should be it should be 90
yeah,
minutes.
these kids have ADHD. I don't know how they did, but JC has seen it twice now and he loves it. I'm like, wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's as a first time film, which I do think you have to look at it as that. This was
Yes.
like
Yeah.
a
No, no,
crowd funded debut feature, right? Like I think the visuals and the overall tone is pretty good, other than the dialogue, like I talked about.
yeah.
But and I like there's some gnarliness at the end, some body horror at the end that's
Yeah.
actually pretty
Audio.
cool. I think the final sequence is actually kind of fun. Like when he gets like stuck to both
Yeah.
walls.
Like that I did dig. And that's when I started liking it, when it was body horror. And
When things start
really,
happening in the movie,
yeah,
ultimately.
like,
To
into the
actually advance the plot and our understanding of what's going on. That's the stuff that's
with 10
okay.
minutes left.
But even before though, like I think the like quiet rapture thing is fine. I think like when you find out that the camera is like radioactive, or it's like a it's like a the what is it called? An X-ray.
An
Like I think
X-ray.
that's all fine. These are like interesting ideas that help us understand what he's doing. But then there's just like there's legitimately 30 minutes of like fluff that doesn't contribute anything to his mission or plot. I don't know, man. I just
Yeah,
cut
I
the
agree.
movie down.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That's all I got on Iron Lung. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I was watching it. I was like, I want to move on from this.
Oh, let's go.
Now, on a wait, I think we got two bangers to finish the podcast with, though.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree.
Caroline. I think is I can never remember how to pronounce his title.
It's
Caroline.
Caroline, because she wants to go to South Carolina,
Sure. Oh, okay.
and
I don't know that I ever
Carolina.
made that connection.
Yeah, that's why when you kept saying that, I was like Carolina. I was like, she's not Spanish.
Yeah, that
But
that helps
but
me
yeah,
remember how to pronounce the movie. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense
but
actually. Now that you say that, it's like
I'm sorry I had to tell you that. No, but
no, it's
I
great. Hey, it's
I also
helpful.
enjoyed it. I thought for a film that I didn't even know about, when you said that, I was like, what's he talking about? I've
I
never
know.
seen a trailer. But it's nice. It's nice, to the point, very quaint, very well done.
For those
More
that don't know what it
drama
is,
than.
though, let's why don't you give us
Oh
a
yeah,
synopsis?
sorry. So yeah. So you want me to do the setup then? So
You do the setup, bro. You're good
Carolina.
at it.
It's basically it's a small indie film. Samara Weaving, that we all know and love for Ready or Not and The Babysitter and other classics. She plays young girl in Texas. She's from Texas, and living the humdrum day in and day out of a young woman that lives in Texas. And a young drifter comes into town, played by Kyle Gallagher, but he
Calendar.
comes into town and he happens to con her boss out of $11,
$10. Yeah, or
10 bucks,
$11. Yeah.
basic 10 bucks. And she catches on, she runs out after him, and basically, she is attracted to him, and after talking to him, she ends up meeting up with him at the bar. And she kind of is, for a girl who has nothing, with a dream of going to South Carolina, we find out later on, to meet her mother, who she only knew as a child, as a baby. Um, she's attracted to this guy who like has been all around, and they end up leaving. She leaves home to go on this adventure, and their grifts end up getting bigger and bigger until they start robbing banks. And she has this whole thing about you know doing this at first, which I thought that whole monologue about why he does it, I thought that was really good.
Mm.
It's not about stealing from anyone, but
I
it's
think that's in
about.
the trailer too.
Uh,
I have seen the trailer once
oh,
a while back.
I've never seen the
Yeah.
trailer.
I think the
Yeah,
trailer has
so
everything you've talked about. I don't want to spoil anything else because
no,
I
no,
don't
yeah,
think a
yeah,
lot of people know about this movie.
yeah. Like I
Obviously we'll
said,
get into spoilers, but yeah, it's just kind of a road trip con movie. It reminds me of like some of the stuff from Better Call Saul.
interesting.
Like the con stuff where they're like, working through like this is how you pickpocket someone and stuff. But
Yeah,
it's like a con man road trip movie.
yeah,
Think Bonnie and Clyde or more like True Romance. Or no,
yeah.
Natural
I
Born
like that.
Killers kind of, it's
Or I think the whole, like, when it starts to get fast,
mhm.
when it starts getting over the top, I kind of like that. Like, I'm glad you mentioned that true romance angle, because it's more about their relationship. It's more of a drama than anything else. But
Sure.
I kind of think that you say that, about true romance. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. And there is that more of a subtle, dramatic love story.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, there is that juiciness for anyone who likes to see action or whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it is thrilling, but
I
I don't think it quite gets over the top, and I think that's what the movie does very well. Is other than maybe a
true,
final
true.
sequence, which we can get more into with the spoilers, I think it remains pretty grounded, and I think the opening
Yeah,
probably like 30-20 minutes or so, it reminds me of like kind of something you'd see from the 70s. It's like an old fashioned kind of
yeah,
setup where we really get to understand her goals and kind of aspirations and the environment that she kind of
yeah.
wants to leave, but still has like nostalgia for.
Yeah.
there's a great line at some point where he says, like, I feel like when I see you interact with people, everybody knows you, but they don't really know you. And there's this idea of like, desire to go and see the world and travel and just live an exciting life. And he provides that for her at the time. Um, I don't know that it like plot wise, I don't know that it necessarily goes in a direction that's shocking or, I think it is thrilling at times, but
No, no.
I think what you're talking about that just the romantic core of the film and just great performances from both of them really drive the thing. And I don't know,
Samara
I
Weaving
like that it took the
that
yeah, they're both really great in it. Samara Weaving
out
is
is also good. Yeah.
when she did Ready or Not, I was like, this girl's gonna be a star, and like this is like that kind of dramatic performance that I think is really impressive from her. Um,
Yeah.
it's sad that nobody saw it. There's a great Red Letter Media did a like a whole hour discussion about it too, and just talking about the release schedule and how it just kind of got
When did
dumped
it
on
come?
streaming. I think it came out like 2 months ago in like I think it was 400 screens or something at the most. Um, didn't make a dime and then got dumped on stream. They never gave it a shot. Um,
Yeah, yeah. That it's
yeah,
a
it's
good film.
unfortunate because it's really well made and I haven't seen. Is it Mistress America? Is the previous film from this director? I forget what. Maybe it's not Mistress America. There's another one that he did that people really like, but I haven't seen this director. But yeah, I don't know. I think it feels old fashioned in a way that is refreshing
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah,
But yeah, and very good. There's not a lot to spoil, I guess. I mean, we could get into spoilers if you want. I don't know if there's really. I mean, we could talk about specific sequences at this point. So it's spoiler warning for those that haven't, but I haven't seen it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like I think the police scene is a scene that in a different film would be unemotionally or unemotional and not as I feel like that moment felt really big in this movie. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's it's a
it's like and I always akin it to Saturday Night Fever, but there's always this moment of realization in certain films where it's done so well, and I think that kind of medium shot of his face as the cop is going to the
yeah,
car, where he resolves himself to know that he has to do what he's going to do, and it's going to change everything. And
sure.
it's like and at this point, she's like freaking out, but they haven't done anything this drastic. And I just thought that was a great shot. His face, he turns a little red. There's sadness, but there's also confidence because it's like it has to be done,
Sure.
for them to survive. And I just really dig that scene. And then even that when he goes to get in the car and he looks at the cop
Yeah,
and the
yeah. I think
cop's
that's a
face,
notable
it's like,
moment.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a recognition of like,
yeah,
what have I done? And I think
done,
that
yeah,
that
yeah.
that
And the
humanizes.
cop too. The cop's like,
Yeah, yeah.
the
It
cop's
just
face is like, what is that?
it's a moment of sad humanity that I think is
Yeah,
something that really drives the film. There's a I mean there's the whole I mean I think the movie establishes kind of their moral found or the gap in their moral foundations from the get-go. At least at that point in time. Obviously, I think she starts to shift in what she's comfortable with, but I think his still like I don't think that she would probably commit an act of violence the way that he would. And there's that great line at the
but
end where he's like,
no, I was going to
"No,
say
you go
because
ahead."
her movement forward, going on your thought, is because of the act of trauma that happens to her with her when she
Sure.
meets her mother, and I think that propels her to go that extra step on what become like what she says. Are we uh, good
Yeah.
people pretending to be bad, or are we bad people thinking we're good? And
Hmm.
I thought that was a great
Good
line.
line. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, yeah, and then I think the final scene in the bar I think is like just
yeah,
heartbreaking and wonderful and very tastefully done.
yeah,
And the performances are great. There's just this recollection of like there's that line where he's like, well, how do we get here or something? And it's just like, man, it's just
yeah,
heartbreaking. Because you want them to succeed, but there's a point in which you can't take it back, and your
yeah,
actions have consequences. And ultimately, I also like the way that it kind of ends on a more uplifting note to some degree, but
yeah.
she should still go to prison for her actions. But I do think ultimately we do like her and we want her to be successful and
Yeah,
succeed. And
we're rooting for both of them actually.
sure,
So
yeah, it doesn't fall into the same trappings as you saw Maggie Gyllenhaal's movie, the Frankenstein
the
one.
bride,
The
the
Bride.
bride.
Like I think The Bride it's a very similar trajectory. That movie's far more violent and occasionally far more stylish as well. I don't dislike that movie, but I think this one kind of sticks the landing emotionally in a way that was unexpected, and yeah, it just maintained a really grounded, just natural tone throughout, and the pacing of it just felt very deliberate and but not boring. And I think it has these big
Yeah,
moments without
oh, yeah,
without going over the top. And I think that keeps it grounded, whereas I think like something like The Bride, I think gets too out there, especially in its final act, and you just kind of lose all attachment to the reality of the situation. And whereas this feels like there's a moment where they like he's like trying to get on some road where there isn't like a road closure, and there's just a recognition of like we're not getting out of this. And I think that
yeah,
it's you feel that as the viewer. So yeah, I just really think it's really strong work from this director. I'm really sad that it didn't get any kind of theatrical effort and
yeah.
backing, but I'm sure people will find it just like something like Strange Darling. And Kyle Gallner's had a nice stretch, so curious to see what else
When
both
was
of these actors.
watching it on,
What'd you say?
was that the first time you saw it, or did you see it in theaters?
I didn't see it in theaters. No, I saw it
Also,
on streaming. Yeah.
yeah, I got you. All right. Yeah.
I saw the trailer in theaters and then it just got dumped. I think the trailer was a couple months ago. I think I was at Cinemark or something, and maybe it was there for a week. Um, I mean, I kind of vaguely remember seeing showtimes for it, but it was like a couple screens a day, you know.
Yeah. You do that.
Unfortunate for a
Yeah.
fun movie. And I will say the same thing about the next movie we're going to talk about, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. Now this is definitely more of a cult type film, in terms of just the audience. I feel
Yeah.
like obviously Canadian born. I knew that it was a show, and I knew that this was a continuation of these characters or this idea, but I didn't know anything about. I hadn't seen the show, and I didn't know anything about. I mean, I've seen Matt Johnson's previous film, Blackberry, which I
Oh, yeah.
love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, apparently, I think it was 2008. They had a YouTube series, I think, and then it got made into an actual produced series.
Oh,
I
really?
don't know what network it was on or where it was. Go ahead.
In Canada.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
it had some kind of it had a 3-season run, I believe.
Oh,
I
interesting.
don't. It might have. I think this said it was Crave Productions, which is the same group that does Letterkenny. I don't
Letter.
know if maybe Crave is the one that put out the original series. It was it was over a decade ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, at least when it started. I don't know enough about the release of. I haven't seen an episode of the show, but
Yeah.
this is essentially a continuation of Nirvana. The band is a fake band. Think like Spinal Tap,
Yeah. Yeah.
of made up by Matt Johnson, and the other guy's name is Jay something. I forget his last name.
Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah.
and
Anyway, doesn't matter. But yeah, Matt and Jay.
yeah.
Um, And so they created this like fake band and added an additional N to the name Nirvana in order to avoid copyright. Nirvana, the band, and then created a series that was about them trying to like make it as a band. This movie in particular picks up though in 2026 as they're still continuing to try and get gigs at the Rivoli, is that what it's called? Which is
Yes.
just like a local pub. It's like not even like a real venue. I mean, I guess it's like just a local venue.
Yeah.
It's like they live down the street from. They're like, man, I just one day would dream of playing at the Rivoli. I just think that there's something so admirable about the dream of that. It's just something that's anyway. That for me was the moment this movie hooked me. Is it's just a very silly. There's this great line which is straight from Bill and Ted, I think, where
Yeah.
they're talking about should like if like how can we promote the show? How can we get a show at the Rivoli? He's like,
Yeah.
we need a
That's really,
flyer.
yes.
He's like, but you can't have a flyer without a show. Well, but if we just put the flyers up, then we'll make it happen. If you build it, they will come.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. A
just a
lot of movie references in this film.
yeah, yeah, a ton of like Bill and Ted. You've got, I mean, I
Yes.
think the core principle, it's a mockumentary, kind of similar to Spinal Tap as well,
Yeah.
shot in kind of that like shaky cam footage style. And then, but yeah, Bill and Ted, you've got obviously Back to the Future.
Yes.
It just filled throughout. There's just so many great moments in this film. This movie was like a complete triumph for me. I thought this is the most fun. I've seen it
Oh,
twice already.
surprise. Yeah, because I saw this trailer, I want to say in May. And I was like, I said, that looks interesting. I said, if it comes out in theaters, I'll see it. And then, forgot about it. And then you mentioned it. And I was like, I should tell. All right, I'll watch it on Plex. Yeah. And then it's like, I mean, there's a lot of things I love. Like you said, you spill a 10, but there's a lot of Tenacious D in there as
Sure.
well. I mean, it's like, and Flight of the Conchords. There's a
By the
lot of
Concords.
well.
The
So,
duo, the bromance. But I do think there's like a genuine tenderness to it
yeah,
that
no,
really drives the thing, you know?
yeah, I love the whole story too. I thought it was really good. And I was like, I was telling Rhonda because she didn't want to see it. I said, like, as it was going, I was like, shit, Rhonda, you got to see it. It's a Back to the Future theme. And but yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. I would love to see their old shows now.
Sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, well, let's get into spoilers at this point for those. I mean,
Yeah.
if you haven't seen the movie, I wholeheartedly recommend it. I think it's just like
Yeah.
one of the funniest comedies I've seen in years, and it very Canadian and dry, but also really meta and
I like that. Yeah.
just like there's just a lot of like winks at the camera, and then the cameramen themselves become characters in the movie. And I like that line at one point. They're like, "Well, you were with me, but who's this guy?" And he's like talking to the other cameraman, like he's like, "Who are you? Are you an imposter?" But yeah. Anyway, it's like a fun buddy comedy. I mean, I've described it a couple times as like Back to the Future meets Bill and Ted and Spinal Tap, but the protagonist is Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. It's like just this bumbling idiot. It's like that. There's a line in there where he goes, "Time travel didn't work until 2 days ago when I poured juice on it." It's so much fun, man. So yeah, wholeheartedly recommend. At this point, let's get into spoilers though. Because I think for me, the other moment where I was like, "This is just this is so silly," is it's the scene where they're like in a hardware store trying to like ask a guy how to buy like a
Yes.
pair of cutters. He's like, if we're trying to cut out like he's trying to cut off the safety harness that they put on him in the CN tower, um, because they're gonna in order to get a show at the Rivoli, they're gonna the parachute into the Blue Jays stadium. It's the dumbest concept. It's like let's go to jail forever.
I know
Uh,
for right for doing this.
but the scene where they go into the hardware store and they've got the parachutes like tucked into the backs of their shirts, I was like, this is so silly. It reminds me of like Eric Andre or like
Yeah, right. Something like
Nathan
it. Well, that
Fielder.
whole thing is very prankish,
Yeah.
because they're getting the reaction of the guy who works in there, and he starts getting nervous because I think he feels like he knows what they're going to do.
He's like, you shouldn't do that, man. It's not worth it. Like I'm a libertarian. I believe that you could do whatever you want, but I would really recommend you not do that. I mean, and I think the way it's filmed and portrayed, I think it definitely it convinces you that what you're watching is real to some degree.
Yeah.
At least
Yes.
you're unsure. And like when they go through TSA, like I'm still not sure if that was real or not. I can't imagine that you'd get through. It's not TSA, it's whatever the Canadian security group is at the CN tower, but it's like you're not getting up there with a knife, or
Yeah,
like,
right.
God. And then the scene, they're like going through security with the parachutes in their back. It's so dumb. Uh, I just, so for me, that was, and then the other moment is when they jump off and the audio from the mic is like cutting in and out as he's screaming as they're falling. It's just like, man, that's just pure comedy. But yeah, it also just gets the time travel logic. It gets
Yeah,
that
right.
right. It
I
gets
love it. I love that part.
it's incredibly wholesome, and you really want the. I mean, I'm sure these characters could be annoying to some people for sure, but I found them to be really like wholesome and endearing, but also like I don't know, it just is. You want these two to get their show at the Rivoli, and I think that drives the whole thing. Um, yeah, the 2008 section too, where they like get to 2008 and the like the like the Jared from Subway, all the
Oh wait,
pedophiles, like there's the that great moment where they open up the magazine and they're like, and it's like got a photo of Bill Cosby on the front, and then they're like,
yeah,
somebody else is playing a show at the Rivoli. It's like such a dumb, that's a great bit. And the way that he like officially recognizes that it is 2008 with the hangover scene in the
yeah,
movie
right. That's
is
the
just
movie.
brilliant, man. It's so brilliant. I don't know, man.
But I thought that was oh my god, that scene when you were just saying, oh, keep going. I forgot, but I just thought, oh no, the whole like when I was watching it, I saw the footage from 2008. I kept saying, damn, this is really good. I wonder if they had because I didn't know that this was a show on YouTube before. So I
Sure.
said, damn, they really did good with the de aging. They look younger,
Yeah.
and now you tell me that makes sense that they just
Yeah.
use
So
footage
this
from the
is
old
my
show.
favorite idea, which was probably the thing that got the movie greenlit, is the idea of at the core of this, which is that they're mixing footage from the original series in with sequences that they've written around the footage that they have from the original series. And so, yeah, there's like these great sequences where they've and they're just like random scenes. Some of them are just unaired footage, I think. Some of them might have
Yeah,
actually been from the series, I'm not sure. But yeah, where they they like there's like a scene where they're trying to put up flyers in front of the Rivoli, and then they have like this whole like showdown where they see themselves and
oh, yeah,
in public, and they're actually cutting between footage from 20 years ago and today, and it's seamless, man. It's really clever.
I dig
Um,
that.
and some of it's more obvious than other sequences, like when he's like asleep, and you can tell where they've recreated some of the scenes to match the
Yeah,
footage, but it's like using body doubles and stuff.
body
Um,
doubles. Yeah.
it's really, really fun though, and I think that was just like a really brilliant. I think it would. I was watching when my favorite film critic reviewed this, and he wasn't a huge fan because I think he was too caught up in being confused by what this is. And I
Oh, okay.
think for me, I had enough of a grasp on it to like follow that component of like the component I'm talking about right now, which is like the using the footage from 20 years ago and mixing it in. Like as it was happening, I was like, oh, that's really clever. Like I was watching
Yeah,
that going, I see what they're doing here. I feel like it might not land the same way if you're not in on the bit a little bit.
agree.
But yeah, I don't know. And then the whole like the arc with Jay like becoming like a Drake like figure,
Oh,
literally a Drake like figure, the whole like the the montage where they're showing him like on a bunch of different talk shows and things, and they show like that the Chris Rock slap was
yeah,
him
right?
in this timeline is, man, that's so funny. And then the like the whole section where he like shoots the guy, and
Oh
then
yeah,
there's like they they're like on the radio, they're like, we'll give you 2 tickets to the new Jay concert if you can name which house he lives at, or if you can tell us his address. And they
yeah,
keep
right.
they keep tying it, they're making that parallel to like when the shooting happened outside of Drake's house, and like all the news reports were like, it's right outside of Drake's house, and they kept saying like, and apparently I think they recreated like the news
Yeah,
sequence from that event, which is just it's just so funny, man. There's just a ton of like, how the fuck did they pull that off sequences in
yes,
this that
that's
are
what I said. I was
legitimately
like,
creative. Um, oh, I love that line where he's like, yeah, it's at some point he's like, it's really all coming together. It's just like there,
I like
and,
that part. I was like, oh my god, that's genius.
another one I love is when he's like, "What am I? What's gonna happen to me if I forget what like plot thing like results in this whole conversation?" But he's talking about it. He's like, "Am I gonna be part of like a ska band? Uh,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like did you what's the name of the Gwen Stefani's band? I'm going blank.
no doubt,
What
no
is it?
doubt,
Yeah, he's
no
like,
doubt.
have you heard No Doubt before Gwen Stefani? Have you heard that music? He's like looks at the camera. I mean, he's just, oh man, it's just so meta and like aware of
Yeah.
itself. And the scene where he like is pouring the soda. I don't know what it's called, but apparently
Oh,
it's like a
that's a orbits.
orbit. Do you know the bit? I don't. I'm not. I was
Yeah,
out. I didn't.
because that's what Orbits was like this drink that came out, not even in the, if they're talking about 2008. It was in like the mid 90s, and it had like little jelly balls in this carbonated drink, and it just tasted horrible. So the
Okay.
fact that they had cases of this in 2008, I was like, what the fuck?
Okay.
And I was like,
That's
oh,
funny.
Canada. So that makes sense because products that don't do well here do well in other countries. So I just started thinking about that. I said, damn, so Orbit's really in Canada in 2008? But yeah, it was like this weird drink that didn't last long here in America. But obviously in Canada, they had cases of it in 2008, 15 years after it flopped. Yeah, so I thought that was genius.
I love that line where he's like, we just drank the last one that's probably known to man, but in
Yeah,
2008 we had a whole case of it. Like that
case.
whole, it's just such a dumb. It's like but the scene though where he accidentally spills it on his like homemade time machine, and it like starts sparking, and he's like hitting it out, and then he's just laughing the whole time, like he's like breaking character, and trying not to laugh into the camera, and it's
Yeah, right.
there's a point where he like glances over and you can tell he's laughing, and it's so fun. It's such a great piece of physical comedy. And then he goes to the back of the RV and like lays down in the bed and then just sits there and silences the camera. It's just like it's such a funny bit. Um, but yeah,
But the
I
good plot device because then he's in the time machine when this guy takes a J. But yeah, I did. I loved it a lot. And
but I love the whole arc of Jay becoming the villain, and just the way that yeah, it's just a really ridiculous plot line, but it's super fun. The extension cord sequence is legitimately
yes,
just it's a brilliant,
uh,
like, and the footage looks it looks like they're like committing a terrorist act. At one point he's like, you got to get all the people out of the way, or whenever I drop this rope they're gonna get obliterated.
obliterated.
Like it's just uh but then all the sequences of them like holding the extension cord and like rolling the thing as they're walking through town, it's just it's so funny, man.
It's really good. I enjoy it.
But there's like a couple moments where with the VFX, like the skydive is one where like I'm like, I don't know how you pull that off. Like it looks convincing
I
enough.
thought, yeah, until you said that, I was like, I wonder how they got away with
The other is there's like the movie theater where they go see The Hangover like
it. Yeah,
becomes closed at one point, and I'm like, did they do VFX on them to get that shot? Like I don't know how they pulled that off because they go
yeah.
into the theater, so at some point they like you get a visual of it closed, and I'm like, it looks real, it looks very convincing, and all the billboards at one point too, where they look up and there's like the Dark Knight and
So yeah, that
the
like
other another pedophile that I'm not sure about the name, but there's a couple pedophiles. There's like Jared from Subway, and then there's
Bill
Bill Cosby,
Cosby.
and then there's another guy I think
But
that's like an abuser of some kind. I don't know who it is, but he's up on one of the billboards. Like
yeah,
that whole shot where he looks up and somebody is like, "What year is it?" They're like 2008. And he goes, "Oh fuck!" And then he like just turns and runs away. Man, but yeah. And then all the extension cord shots are just
yeah.
so funny and so visually just fun. Uh, I love that scene where they're like talking about how he's like, "This is going to be a copyright nightmare if you see
Nightmare.
this in theaters."
He goes,
It's
I don't even think you'll ever see this in theater. That was good.
8,000 gigawatts.
God.
That's just so stupid, man. And they're like humming the score to Back to the Future.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, I just had so much fun, and I've seen it. I've shown my brother loved it. I watched it with my dad and my brother. My dad was less interested, but I think it's a little too silly for his taste. But yeah, just a great time. That's about all the thoughts I had on it. But if you haven't seen it, it's there's 200 laughs in it, and yeah, it's just a really fun, inventive sci-fi buddy comedy.
Oh yeah,
So,
it's like but yeah, I
let's do
also
picks of the
recommend it.
let's do picks of the week. Did you do your pick of the week?
Um, not in relation to the. We had three different films. I mean, I was like,
That's fair. That's
no,
fair.
no, no. But yeah, I. Oh my god, was this?
I can go first if you want.
Yeah, go first. So I can remember the. Oh yeah, I got. Like,
So mine is Time Bandits, from
oh,
1981.
yeah,
I
great
went
film.
time traveling theme. That was my pick of the week. Directed by Terry Gilliam, who did Brazil and Monty Python. the Holy Grail. I think he did Life of Brian as well. I think I'm not sure.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
got Sean Connery, Shelley Duvall, John Cleese, a lot of the Monty Python cast. It's like a young boy goes on a time traveling journey with a bunch of dwarves. It's super fun and really inventive, and reminds me of something like an adventure film like Princess Bride, or like just those early
Yeah.
like 70s. Um, I don't know, it's like, or like Labyrinth or something like that. That's a little later, 80s, but I don't know. It just has like a
It's Terry
childlike.
Jones wrote Labyrinth.
What's that?
No, Terry Jones wrote Labyrinth from Monty Python.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's Carlos with the fun facts on the
Yeah.
podcast. But yeah,
That's what I'm here for.
Time Bandits is great. There's a great Criterion set of it. Yeah, classic.
I own that. You own it too, right?
Yeah. It's somewhere behind me. It's
Yeah.
in the T section, which is probably down at the bottom.
Alphabetical. Um. So yeah. So my pick was because I never saw it before, but Sam Raimi's Crimewave.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I haven't.
It yeah. So it's the slapstick 40-ish, the 40s ish type comedy, and I would definitely tell you to watch. Right now it's on, I think, MGM Plus, but yeah, it's just really silly. It's actually because Crime Wave came out in '85, and then Evil Dead 2 came out in '87,
Mm.
and you could see where no one saw Crime Wave, so he used a lot of that slapstick element, making the Evil Dead series more campy,
Hmm.
which then led to Army of Darkness. But
Evil Dead 2 is my favorite,
but
one of my favorite horror films of all time.
Army of Darkness.
No, Evil Dead 2. It's like my
Oh,
favorite
Evil
one.
Dead
I mean, Evil Dead 2 is like, yeah, it's the best of the bunch, in my opinion.
is fun, and that slapstick, Three Stooges type, boing, that's in this film as well. And I would definitely recommend, especially you, but I mean anyone who digs on Sam Raimi, would say watch Crime Wave because I really enjoyed it. And I like I said, I know Jeremy would dig it, but anyone else, I mean, hopefully they channel that Evil Dead 2 spirit because no one ever saw Crime Wave. That movie came away actually. The name of the film, like if you watch it, like was oh my god, it's like a different name, but it was it's called Crime Wave. But when they released it on home video, they gave it a different name.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Did
but yeah,
so poorly. They're like, we need to rename this thing.
rename it and edit it. But yeah, it's just really funny, very slapsticky, very a nod to the old 30s and 40s screwball comedies. But yeah, I recommend that, and I think everyone should see Crime Wave. That's
Nice. Well, cool. Well, this was episode 59 of Indecisive Cinema. I don't know what week we'll be back, but the other thing I was going to ask you about is, do you want to do Tuesdays or Thursdays going forward? I feel like Thursdays has become easier, but during
yeah,
the school
yeah.
year,
So you said
Tuesdays.
or the end of the week is easy. If you see it Thursday would be better. Yeah, that's
I
cool.
mean, yeah, I think during the school year it might be the opposite for me, but we can talk through that. But yeah, I think so. We'll be filming the week of the 20th, and we'll figure out what movies to talk about. I know I'll probably see the Odyssey by then, and then we'll see what else is going on. But thanks for doing this. Glad we were able to make it happen, and y'all whoever's watching, have a good rest of y'all's week, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one. You guys take care. Bye.